Commence entry. This is our comedian Paravian, initiating a report for a now defunct platform, or at least a variant of one. Under normal circumstances, I would not even consider creating a log for a previous version of any given platform, but I do, as the Council of Seven demands, and they demand a report. This platform in particular has drawn criticism over countless cycles, from the laboratory personnel for being forced to work with now outdated technology, from the engineers for being given a framework with questionable purpose, and even from other executors for being excessively vulnerable to enemy adaptation. Although this report is, in a way, useless now, that an upgraded iteration of this respective platform is being deliberated by the Council of Seven, I still intend to log this into our archive, for potential usage in further research efforts, should the need arise. Given how frequently the Council revises their proposed platforms during the first model phase, I feel this is the correct decision. File number: Uniform Sierra Papa Oscar Oscar, TAC 015. Designation: Vauban. In response to the rapid growth of the Corpus insurgency, Executor Ballas realised the need and lack of a proper platform to counter the sudden yet formidable threat. This prompted the proposition and eventual confirmation and construction of the Vauban platform, expressly created for the purpose of rapid deployment against any and all Corpus insurrection. Due to the nature of Corpus technology's complexity, our engineering departments played a significant role in the fabrication and application of early prototypes and technology for the Vauban platform, particularly in the creation of equipment designed with the sole purpose of opposing machinery that was originally their very own design. I myself, unfortunately, do not have access to any of the original schematics or research notes of the Vauban platform, as the engineering departments tend to keep everything in-house, and given the damage their pride has taken for having their work be stolen by the Corpus separatists, nobody really blames them. I have, however, been granted access to PRO's prototype phase research, but even then, it's not enough material for myself to note upon. As such, for the purpose of this log, I have requested one of the original supervisors of the early-made Vauban platform to assist me. Now, if you could please introduce yourself.
Good day. I am Chief Engineer Sirius. Here today not out of free will, but because I understand that refusal entails punishment, if not death. During construction of the project, we believed it to be our magnum opus. That is, until the damn council came along and demanded us to rework our efforts. And so we did. Not because we were asked to, but because the thrill of overcoming what we thought was our original best was, strangely enough, euphoric. Regardless, I'm here to document the original schematics of said project prototype. For starters, the prototype was installed with smart sensors, capable of detecting crippled and/or immobilized targets within a variable distance, no matter how aforementioned targets were afflicted. These targets in question are prioritized by these sensors, which would then automatically shift and enhance the firepower of the prototype. A bit cruel, I admit, but the engineering department does not believe in mercy, and neither do I. We realize that this is a business collective we're fighting, so we slowly realized, why do it yourself when you can have technology do your dirty work? Let me glance down the list here. Attribute number 1, Bolt. The prototype is capable of charging up and throwing an orb of compressed electrical current. Don't ask me how we accomplished that, I'd be here for hours just trying to explain it, and quite frankly, I already hate being here. Which then periodically seeks and shocks the nearest hostile. Although the voltage is not high enough to be lethal, it's significant enough that whatever poor bastard is struck by it suffers temporary motor dysfunctionality. As an added touch, we granted this orb the capability to fire through walls regardless of conductivity. resulting in the orb gaining potential as a ranged scouting and disarmament device, particularly against lighter electronics such as cameras.
In regards to its electrical aspects, range-altering modules are reasonably effective at neutralising enemy movement, since the innate voltage is too low for any proper killing, even with power-increasing modules. Although the Link supplementary module exists to attempt to enhance the lacklustre damage potential and bolster the already present area denial capabilities, operators report that the Link module does not do enough to warrant installation. Further improvements are required. Moving on. Anything else to add?
What else? Ah, yes. Attribute number 2, Bandolier. Admittedly, this began as a joke. During early production, we voiced our concerns over the prototype not possessing the capacity to be armed with all of our conceptualized ordnance. So we were just told to stuff as much as possible into the prototype. So we did. We installed a highly modular bomb devised for multi-purpose usage. We came up with countless modes, but we ultimately settled on 4. The first mode consists of changing the bomb into a source of constantly generated yet outwardly projected magnetic field, capable of repelling anything that touches it. Effective on paper, but hardly amusing in practice. The second mode consists of disarming but adding thread-like wire filaments to the bomb, causing exposed enemies to stagger if not fall. The third mode consists of arming the bomb with densely packed anti-personnel shrapnel, capable of bleeding and/or outright eliminating any protective surfaces within the blast radius. And the last mode consists of outfitting the bomb with a proximity sensor and a small thorium battery, which would be allowed to detonate upon the proximity sensor being tripped. The radioactive materials linger, of course, but what's interesting is that it somehow causes the exposed targets to become immune to external stimuli, most notably sounds. We don't know how this works, as we're not neurologists, but nevertheless, this leaves us thoroughly vexed.
There are 2 important things to note regarding the bomb. First, the third mode becomes most effective when paired used with power-increasing modules, since the base explosive cannot do much on its own. Secondly, enemies afflicted by the radioactive material from the bomb's 4th mode appear to become temporarily disorientated by the blast, granting the operator precious few seconds to accomplish whatever needs to be done. What say you, Sirius?
Oh, I remember this one. Attribute number 3, Inversion. The namesake of the prototype was a bit of an oddball, so we figured, what better way to honor him than creating something just as equally odd. After some brainstorming, we proposed the creation of a portable gravitational manipulation device. After countless iterations, we finally succeeded, and dubbed the end product Bastille, in honor and reference of the various defensive fortifications, tactics, and stratagems of the prototype's namesake. To put it very, very lightly, we first assembled a miniature electromagnetic field into a grenade-sized device. After being activated and thrown, the grenade activates upon touching any surface in the area. Next, the electromagnetic field is purposely fluctuated, causing nearby particles to become erratic and excited within a limited area. Then the field is further augmented, causing gravitons in the range of effect to become illogical, resulting in what can be considered to be a zone of zero gravity to be produced, albeit for a short-lived time. We intentionally refrained from implementing quantum dampeners into the grenade, meaning that there is no physical barrier that the zone of zero gravity cannot pierce through, unless they somehow create quantum grounding generators, but what are the odds of that? Not our usual forte in terms of design, I must admit, but nobody dares question the effectiveness of it.
This device comes with the optional Repel supplementary module, which allows the gravitons the ability to reject incoming entities, Once an activated device can no longer support additional targets. This in turn transforms the Bastille into a relative safe zone, which is particularly useful against infested opponents. Operators report that utilising range-enhancing modules and low ability strength is optimum, in order to increase the size of the protective zone while also decreasing the amount of time required for the Bastille's rejection properties to kick in.
Now for my personal favorite. Attribute number 4. Event Horizon. In inspiration from the Bastille device, those of us involved over at the engineering department started theorizing methods of properly manifesting and controlling a black hole. After all, if we could control the flow of gravity, why not also the flow of space-time? Unfortunately, we weren't able to realize this goal, but we came relatively close. Utilizing the same electromagnetic field as the Bastille device, we created another portable grenade, only this time outfitted with a miniature teleporter and gyroscopes. Rather than trying to change the existing particles of a given environment, we decided to instead try to mimic the confusing yet chaotic power of a black hole by manufacturing a small teleporter, hardwiring coordinates of a random known gravity well into it, adding in gyroscopes to direct the flow of warped gravitational force in random directions, and then throwing it at whatever is deemed necessary, resulting in a localized gyre of gravity. As much as we dream of miniaturizing the destructive potential of a black hole, this is the closest we could approach. I, for one, do hope that the modernized platform can finally succeed at accomplishing this task, or at the very minimum is installed with something befitting of the Vauban name.
Thank you, Sirius. While the black hole-like device comes with the perpetual upgrade option, it sees little usage outside of objective defence operations, as the added duration is seldom needed. Now, I would like to emphasise that this entry serves for a now defunct variant of the Vauban platform, as the new and improved version is currently under construction. Unless I am called upon for the purpose of research and development, I see no reason to focus on this version any longer. Terminate entry.